The Bucks get their first win over the Nets and avoid going down 3-0 in the Eastern Conference semis. They scored the final 6 points of Game 3 to win 86-83. That is not a misprint. That is not a third quarter score. That was the final. As KD finishes with 30, shot just 11 of 28 from the field. Final shot of the game hit off the back of the rim. Bucks host the Nets for Game 4 on Sunday. Donovan Mitchell and the Jazz putting the Clips back to where they were in the first round, down 0-2. Mitchell finding himself in familiar territory, unfortunately grabbing that right ankle towards the end of the game. He sprained that ankle several weeks ago, missed a bunch of time, but afterwards he said he was fine. He said he could sprint if necessary, and he started out hot. PG3 did not get it done defending Mitchell. He scored 10 in the first 3.5 minutes and dropped 37 overall.
All right, Hannah, two big Game 3s in the NBA playoffs tonight. The late game features the Nuggets hosting the Suns. MVP Nikola Jokic in Denver trying to avoid a 3-0 deficit. Phoenix has outscored them by 42 points through two games, with Nuggets coach Mike Malone criticizing his team for quitting in the second half of both games. The Suns are shooting 51% from the field and 43% from three in this series. Meanwhile, the Sixers and the Hawks facing off in Game 3 tonight from Atlanta. Sixers tied up the series with a dominating win Wednesday night. Joel Embiid dropped 40 in the win. The Hawks' Trae Young scored 21, but was bothered all night by the defense of Ben Simmons. ESPN NBA reporter Dave McMenamin joining us now. Dave, it's been a week of runner-up finishes for the Sixers. Ben Simmons finishing second in Defensive Player of the Year voting, just one day after Joel Embiid finished second in MVP voting. So how are those two using that as motivation as the series heads to Atlanta tonight?
Well, Jay, I talked to Doc Rivers, the Sixers coach, about it yesterday over Zoom. And Doc's point was the fact that they're on the board now will mean that they are in the consciousness of voters for the future. So he says that with their youth and with their growth potential, they both will get those awards down the line. Embiid's 27 years old. Ben Simmons is 24 years old. Now, they can't do anything about the awards voting at this point. All they can do is look at what's ahead of them. Embiid said, I'm focused on winning a championship. If I hold up the Larry O'Brien trophy when this thing is said and done, nothing else will matter. And then you look at what happened last year, right? Giannis Antetokounmpo, yeah, he has the Defensive Player of the Year trophy on his award shelf. He has the MVP on his award shelf. He doesn't have a championship to speak of. The runner-ups, LeBron James for MVP, Anthony Davis for Defensive Player of the Year, those guys won it all. And so the Sixers would like to follow that same script that the Lakers did.
Yeah, but the Sixers, unlike the Lakers, still playing. So tip-off, Sixers and Hawks set for 7:30 Eastern right here on ESPN. Dave McMenamin, always a pleasure. Hannah?
Well, Kendrick Perkins joins us now to weigh in on this series. And Perk, you said that you like the Hawks to pull off the upset against the Sixers. What do you see them needing to do tonight? They're at home in the ATL Game 3 to take back that momentum against Philly.
Well, first of all, Hannah, look, you know Club ATL is going to be rocking. Lemon Pepper Lou, he already catering wings. It's going to be rocking in there tonight. But look, they don't have an answer for Joel Embiid. Whether they double team him, triple team him, he's just that gifted offensively, okay? But you have to cancel out the others. So if you're the Hawks, you can't let Tobias Harris go off. You can't let Seth Curry go off, who's, by the way, averaging 21 points in this series. You have to lock in on those guys. Joel Embiid is going to get his. You can't let Shea Milton come in and have 14 off the bench. You got to take the others away. Let Joel, I'm not saying be a cakewalk to the basket, but let him work for his. Take the others away, and the Hawks are going to be fine because Ice Trae is going to bounce back tonight, and he's going to do it in great fashion.
Oh, no doubt. And State Farm Arena, no capacity limits tonight. They're going to have a sold-out crowd for this. So people forget, folks in Atlanta love their basketball. They've been just as hungry for a championship as all these other cities, so it should be a great scene. All right, so right after that game on ESPN tonight is the Suns and the Nuggets. They're back in Denver and away from that Phoenix crowd for Game 3. But Perk, what is the one thing the Nuggets have to do to keep their hopes alive in this series?
You know the one thing they have to do, Hannah? They have to hope that the doctors clear Jamal Murray to play. That's the only hope that they have right now, okay? Because this series is over with. I'm telling you straight up, this series is over with. Look, they don't have an answer for Phoenix on the perimeter. They can't match Devin Booker and CP3 and what they're bringing to the table. Devin Booker is playing like a superstar right now. DeAndre Ayton has X'd out Jokic, and right now you have Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, Cameron Payne. You have so much firepower, and you asking a injured Michael Porter Jr., who's dealing with back problems, to match that. It's not going to work. This Phoenix Suns team, they play a gender-free basketball on the offensive end. Defensively, they're tied on the string. They play boxes and elbows. They do a great job of communicating, rotating, and covering for each other. So right now, the Suns have full advantage, and there's nothing that Michael Malone could say, and nothing no one could do to get this Denver Nuggets team back in this series.
Yeah, I think his words are just falling on deaf ears at this point. Porter Jr., he's really struggling. You called it. Listen, averaging just 13 points on 35% shooting in this series. Maybe the altitude will help. Huh, Perk? Just a little? The altitude there in Denver? All right.
Help with the hope.
He knows what I'm talking about. All right. Kendrick Perkins, thanks.
And last night, the Jazz beat the Clippers to take a 2-0 lead in their Western Conference semifinal series. Jordan Clarkson was money, scored 24 points off the bench in the win, but last night for him was about a lot more than wins and losses. Stop Asian hate. 3 words like Black Lives Matter that the NBA and its players have no qualms saying or bringing awareness to. From the league response to the massage parlor shootings in Atlanta to random attacks on Asians nationwide, the Blazers' Damian Lillard participating in a PSA campaign in May, Asian American Pacific Islander Month, encouraging others to be allies. And now, Jordan Clarkson of the Utah Jazz, who's Filipino American, is lending his assistance after a Salt Lake City food truck was vandalized. Clarkson tweeting this Wednesday after the incident. It hurt me deeply to see that Salt Lake's Yum Yum food truck was recently vandalized. I know the pain that hateful language and racism causes. With help from Identity Graphics, we'll be able to restore the truck and hopefully lift Ben and his family's spirit. Hashtag Stop Asian Hate. Here's more from Clarkson with our own Young Masuk.
Well, my first reaction was this is bullshit. I was just like, we can't be doing this. It's just no room for that, especially right now. It's, it's been tough years on this earth, this country, this world. There's a lot of stuff going on. I feel like us together and everybody, finding a peace will make things a lot more, comforting in this world. And we ain't got no room for the hate no more. So. That's got to go out the window real quick.
And the Yum Yum owners were at last night's game, with the team providing them with a signed Clarkson jersey in a big screen moment.
Coming up, is it possible to be less confident in the Bucks' chances after they actually won their game last night? Why Stephen A says absolutely. And after waiting over a year, Euro 2020 begins in less than 2 hours. We're live in Rome to assess the vibe ahead of the kickoff.